Hello there, people of the internet. My name is Udwari Jagero, and this is Dialogues with Jagero and beautiful Doreen. We are doing a series, and this is episode 4.
Yeah.
And we're going to be talking about why men lose attraction. You know, some women say that he used to be very good when we were dating, always complimenting me, saying, you know, you're telling me about, what were you telling me about women knowing what their men love? Like, that guy is a booby guy. That one is just, he likes my thighs, but I'm sure he likes me.
Like, women are socialized to understand that men turned on by what they see, and that what they see builds emotional connection, therefore keeps their attraction. So women will go to lengths to work on how they look. But now the problem or the challenge that I find is that women get to overwork simply because they don't get positive reinforcement about it. They don't hear it enough. You know, they want to, you find that women are changing how they look like, their complexions, their hair lengths, you know, their makeup, you know, and you wonder why you're working so hard, simply because he's not saying it enough. So women like to hear men tell them as much how they look like. So it's not enough to say, oh, beautiful, you look so beautiful. Yeah. Women want to know what about their bodies you find sexy. Like you mentioned it, they know, yes, he finds me beautiful overall, but what about me turns him on? In many of my bridal shower sessions, I get to ask women when we are talking about, like, I like women to be in their bodies. I talk about that a lot by the way they feel about themselves and what they think about themselves. So that when they're coming in the cowgirl position, I ask them, do you feel like a cowgirl when you're coming into the cowgirl position? What's expected? Like you're trying to say, even me, I can dominate. I too have the energy and the power. I too have this, but is it what you...
The cowgirl.
You know, do you come on with that? If you have self-doubt on the inside, I see it in the way they fall down. I see it in the way they carry their bodies. So they're coming into cowgirl, but the confidence is not there. So then they rush the moment. They come from up strictly down to their knees.
To have it in my head what a cowgirl is.
A cowgirl's exposition is when the girl is on top.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And they're riding you.
Yeah, exactly. She feels like a cowgirl. She's in charge. And they feel good, they feel powerful.
Boss woman.
So they feel powerful.
Yeah.
It's supposed to look like that. But when we are going through sex styles, I see of course, the situations are because you're not with your partner. They're not with their partners. I'm very sure with their partners it's different. But then they rush so fast. And ideally, the cowgirl position is where you come and flaunt your physical attributes. But I would flaunt most what I know he likes. So if I know he likes the boobs, there's a way I'll come playing with the boobs. If I know he likes my thighs, there's a way I'll come with my thighs. If I know he likes my eyes, I will look him deep into the eye, you know?
Yeah.
It's just, if I know he likes my hair, there's a way I'll just come on playing with my hair. But now, if you don't know what he likes about you, you probably are flaunting the wrong part. Maybe he's not so much about your waist, but you have all these beads around the waist and you think he's going to like the waist.
Jiggle them a little bit.
You know, so maybe he's not so much into, I know 90% are into the butts and asses.
Yeah.
You know, so imagine he loves your ass and then you're giving him the chest. You know, then it would be nice that you reverse the cowgirl and play with a cowgirl. So when women hear more of what their partners like or find sexually attractive about them, they have confidence. They stop changing their bodies too much. One of the reasons they change is because they wonder if the loss of attraction in the relationship is because of the way they look like. So they keep looking for it. Is it because I don't wear heels? Is it because I'm not skinny? Is it because I don't have a waistline? Is it because I don't wear makeup? They keep just changing. Part of the body image issues we get to see in women is because of the worry if he still finds me attractive.
Yeah. We are going to go back to why men lose attraction. But I love the way you are. You know? So I am going to be, you are a professional. You're very passionate about women's health.
Yeah.
And you've got products.
Yeah.
We are having some of them on the table.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued by the one called vaginal wells.
Yeah.
What is this about? What is this about? Tell me about this one.
So I have vaginal wellness yoni moisture.
Yeah.
Now I help women first of all understand their bodies. Some women come to me and they tell me that they run dry. When they get turned on, they have lubrication, but in the process of enjoying their sex, then they run dry. They have to apply lube, and they don't like it. So then there are also women who experience vaginal atrophy. Vaginal atrophy is when they start, perimenopause. Perimenopause is the 10-year period before menopause. You see, it starts where
menopause.
Perimenopause.
Perimenopause.
It's the gap. It's the 10-year gap before menopause.
Yeah.
So most women think about menopause, or you hear them say, oh, maybe I'm menopausal. But what about the before menopause?
Yeah.
That period is not taken care of. Usually women experience dryness, and that dryness is because of the dwindling hormonal levels, right? So some of them are recommended to go for hormonal therapy, which I don't believe in. I believe in helping women understand how to eat for their reproductive stages. If a woman eats for her reproductive stage, she doesn't. All my clients, I call them sensuous women.
Yeah.
They don't experience menopausal issues. Even the ones who come telling me about hot flashes, oh, Doreen, I feel dry, my libido is out. Once they start using natural products in mostly taking care of their bodies, being mindful about their bodies, they heal. So this oil has what I call sea buckthorn oil. Sea buckthorn oil is an oil that supports estrogen production in the vagina. As long as they're producing enough healthy levels of estrogen, they are lubricated. So the sea buckthorn oil gets up because the body may stop producing enough estrogen as they get into perimenopause.
Yeah.
So then they need plant-based support because we respond best to food. And sea buckthorn is an oil. So I use sea buckthorn oil. There's also another oil called CBD that I add in there. Then I also
CBD.
add holy basil. Yeah, holy basil oil.
CBD. What is it?
CBD oil, the healthy CBD oil has an endocannabinoid component in it that vaginas also have. Yeah, did you know that vaginas also have neurological capacity, like we connect mentally to our vaginas?
I just know that vagina's got a lot of things going on.
Yeah, so this oil is a power oil. Once they apply it in their vaginas, they are lubricated naturally. And then they don't have to worry about it.
You have a lot of products that we'll talk about, but let's go back to why men lose attraction. Can you expand a little bit of why men? I know why I lose attraction.
Why?
I'm gonna tell you.
I'm going to probe you. You will tell me. Sometimes you ask me questions and I like it when I ask you questions. So allow me ask you questions on that because you're guiding us as well. We need to know as women. Because you see, the irony is that we don't expect men to lose attraction. We believe that when a man wants sex, he gets sex.
Yeah.
When a man wants, to orgasm, he will orgasm. For them, they think they get. That's what we expect. But then now, when we start thinking of men losing attraction in relationships, what brings that about? What gets to a woman's mind is, I think he's losing interest in me. And yet that's not the only reason.
No.
It's like 1% out of 5%. Yeah, she doesn't have to be, but I get so many clients. You know what's even worrying is when they come and they ask me, crying, Doreen, is my vagina bad? He doesn't touch me. Why would you be with somebody? You live with him for 1 whole month, he doesn't touch you.
What does touch here mean?
Touch here is he does not initiate, because now it means she's been used to the idea that when he touches me, it shows he wants me. And he wants us to have sex. So when he stops
that is
touching,
totally lacking.
Exactly, now that's lacking. I have women who say, he even says, you want too much sex, or I'm not interested in sex lately. We have children to raise. Let's have different rooms because when you sleep next to me, you torture me.
Sleep in a different room.
Exactly, because they've lost sexual desire. I know the percentage is very small, but now let's look at these other ways where the truth is women end up wanting more sex than men.
I know.
In the beginning, men seem like they're the ones who need more sex. But I have more couples where women are the ones
Tell us what is going on there. Is it the probiotics that you're giving them?
Definitely. You notice that women are more interested in taking care of themselves. When I look at sex dysfunction in men, or when I look at some of the challenges that men experience, apart from the physiological and the medical reasons, there are some psychological and lifestyle causes for them losing out on desire or experiencing erectile dysfunction or getting premature ejaculation. And some of the reasons is because men don't take care of themselves. Let's just look at why men get erectile dysfunction. One of the reasons is hormonal imbalances. Which hormones are those? Poor thyroid health, and then the hormones in the brain just go haywire. What causes that? Many times the man is the one who is taking care of the whole home, so the burden of taking care of the home is on him. He doesn't have anywhere to go and talk about the challenges he experiences in running a home, right? So men have anxiety, stress, depression that goes untalked about. And when he's experiencing that, neurological issues will always affect how we respond. Because when he starts thinking that, when he's always thinking about making money, when he's feeling challenges about how he makes money or how he's feeling appreciated at home. Some men make the money, they do the best they can, but they don't feel appreciated at home. They don't feel that the people they sweat for see the work or find value in the work that they do. Now, those thoughts start affecting how they feel about themselves. Once you start feeling low about yourself, low self-esteem starts causing a loss of interest. You're just not turned on. You're just not thinking about sex. It's not like that anymore. That's one of the things. Number 3, it's how they are communicated to. Because the way a man thinks of his body, if he's always told, are you always just thinking about sex? Why are you always just touching your penis? Why, they're looked at as if everything they do is shaming.
Yeah.
As if having desires and urges is shaming. When they come up with a bit of communication about kink, they will be given so many verses, to read and bring them back to center, So how they are looked at or viewed can affect how they feel about the partner, rather sex itself, apart from the partner. But then there's one exciting thing that one thing that I find is the reason why men lose out on attraction. It's self-sufficiency. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they just feel they don't want to depend on somebody else to satisfy their sexual needs. Mm-hmm. They want a sense of autonomy. Eros, or the energy that moves in us, I call desire, eros. Eros is life force, right? We need that energy to be able to feel libido for life, the enjoyment for life. And many of the reasons why we may have yearnings and longings and wanting attraction for sex, it could be because of the other needs that we do not know how to communicate. Sometimes you want to feel important, you want to feel in charge, you want to feel strong. And so you may want to have more sex because you want to feel a sense of power. And you might find actually your need for sex is that. And that if you got that power elsewhere, you may not want to have sex.
Explain.
For instance, if you have a woman who validates you, she sees you, she makes you feel important. She maybe imagine when your wife posts your picture on Instagram and she says all these beautiful things about you. Mostly, we love how hard you work for us. We love how mindful you are about your family. I love watching you take care of your daughters. Those things make a man feel powerful. Like how she views you to the world is what gives you the morale to feel powerful and important. So then your need for sex is reduced. Because sometimes we need sex. Women can need sex because they want to feel heard. Maybe every time she talks, you don't hear her, but during sex, you get to listen to her. So she may want sex because she wants to talk to you, right? On the other hand,
I've always wondered why women want to bring out some issues.
yes, during
Just
sex.
and this,
Yeah, many times we have a need for touch, and or we have a need to, you know, to feel soothed. Yeah, and if we don't have that satisfied in so many other ways, our need for sex is going to be a little bit more, right? Taking it back to the man, self-sufficiency. Sometimes a man wants independence, autonomy. Picture a boy who grew up without being groomed into independence, or that his autonomy is important, or that his ideas are important. You know, some of us, some people come from backgrounds where there was emotional dysfunction, you know, and so one of the issues that such boys will have is a loss of independence, and they use sex to be able to claim it. They feel when they're suffocated, when they're feeling flooded, not wanting sex is their way of taking back their power. It's their way of feeling like I have a say. I can be able to. And what's fun is that they may not be attracted, rather they may not be interested in having sex with a woman, but she finds him masturbating.
oh,
Yes. Because you see of that need for autonomy, the need to be able to self-gratify himself, the need for self-gratification, the need to not want to depend on somebody is something that is strong in men. They want to develop. If it was not developed at 15, 16, it will always keep on occurring later because they have that strong need to be autonomous. So many times they withdraw from the relationship because they want to feel a sense of autonomy. Yeah.
What do you think goes on in women's head, you know, when you see somebody that you love is masturbating?
Yeah.
You know? How do they take it, the women?
It's causing a lot of problems because it's not well communicated. First of all, some of these things are unconscious needs. People have not fully understood themselves to know really what goes on inside me. So I love it when you have conversations like this because we get to pull out. There's so many reasons why people lose attraction, but I want to look at the one that is most not thought about or not looked at, because it could be something that people go to think about, right? Definitely when a woman, I have couples where there's complaints that the man, first of all, doesn't get an enough erection. He has to first masturbate. And then she probably has a problem with that because she finds partnered sex much better, or makes her feel like we are in a relationship, right? Or he may make love to her, make her come, but for him to be able to orgasm, he needs to be able to masturbate. And that is causing issues because one, there's poor communication about it. He may have his way of wanting to orgasm or experiencing pleasure, right? And so partnered masturbation is not something that is well understood in most relationships.
What is partnered masturbation?
Like, I could masturbate in front of you while you're watching. You could masturbate in front of me while I'm, watching. Many times we teach women, we will talk about it when we're looking at the orgasm gap, when we're talking about becoming clitorate. Most women don't squirt because they still have anxiety about somebody else touching them. And so masturbation, when she's on top of him and then she's doing her own thing while he's observing, that is partnered masturbation. Like she's on top of him, he's watching, and she's actually the one who is bringing pleasure to herself. It can be the same thing. He could be on top of her, but then he's the one who is bringing pleasure to himself. And she's watching. There are so many ways men have complained about how women touch their dicks, the pressure, the compress, the knot, the featherly touches, and all those things that women miss. And that if she watches him do that to himself, she gets to learn. But because of our different values, because of our own blocks, we may not want to see that as something that is healthy in the relationship. Yet it could help with some of the problems that we experience in our sexual pleasure. Yeah.
There are men that they cannot have sex. There is a story that I read of men who cannot have sex. They must watch porn when they want to have sex.
Yeah.
Or porn, video, or a porn magazine Where does that come from? Is it why is it that the woman cannot give him enough erection to have sex? He has to be looking at something else.
Of course, I don't find that to be healthy personally.
Yeah.
It means the man has because men are highly visual, and sometimes their visual stimuli is not well it's not well built. They again, like we said, they are slut shamed for being visual, yet they need visual stimulation. You might find some men really need good visual stimulation, or they want to fantasize, and whatever they fantasize about, they're not getting it with their partner. It could be the fantasy of the touch stimulation they're seeing in the porn. They're not getting enough touch to be stimulated, to have enough blood flow, or they want to feel their blood. Some men, the blood takes long to flow, yet the amount of foreplay he gets from the woman is not enough to give him the blood flow, and it's a feeling he's having, right? So some of them have had to focus only on watching porn to get that. Some of them don't even understand why, right? It's because they're getting visual stimulation and they're fantasizing about the kind of touch stimulation they would need to be able to get there, because they when they fantasize about something, anything in their mind will be able to allow them to get aroused, right? So it's a miscommunication, but also it can come from sex addiction. It can come from porn addiction. Addiction is addiction. It's not something you can just go off. If it started, imagine a man who started porn when he was 14 or 13. By the time he's married at 35, we're going to be having issues with, with how quickly he is able to switch from porn to his wife, right? So mindfulness is not there. Right? I find foreplay that does not include mindfulness is what takes men to going to porn first before they can have sex. Because if we are mindful, sensuality is able to stimulate the man well enough for him to get the ejaculation strength, rather the erection strength that he's looking for. So I find that there's so many couples who say, for us, we want to watch porn, then it turns us on. I find they have not used each other well, and they are not delving into finding knowledge that they can use to use each other. They don't know how to use oils to be able to stimulate each other's bodies. They don't know how to use words to be able to communicate to each other and stimulate each other. They've not learned how to use sounds to be able to stimulate each other. They've not thought the environment they're in is affecting them, They are looking for other things instead of creating inner aphrodisiacs, right? What do I mean?
Yeah, what do you mean by inner aphrodisiac?
I don't, when we say aphrodisiacs, people think, oh, Doreen, what is the strongest aphrodisiac? And I say there's no aphrodisiac that works as good as the way you take care of your body. Chinese sex literature talks about, the Kama Sutra talks about a lot about the wind. The more wind you have, the less capacity for arousal.
What is wind?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you ever, tell me which food you eat that bloats you?
What?
That bloats you. Have you ever eaten some food and you feel bloated?
Of course.
Yeah.
I have I'm lactose intolerant. That is milk.
Okay.
And beans.
Okay. Yeah. Some people are not aware of food that gives them inflammation. Any food that causes you inflammation, food that is hard for your body to break down. It may not even be gas alone. Maybe your food takes longer to get digested. So it's like sitting in your body. And some people are not aware of that feeling as being negative or not being good. They're so used to it that they don't know the feeling of feeling light even after eating a heavy meal. So some people eat foods which they're not aware are causing them wind. The foods that cause inflammation, the food that cause you gas, the foods that cause you bloating, restrict blood flow. So if you have had dinner or you had lunch that is causing wind within your body, you're going to have less blood flow and it will contribute to erectile dysfunction, or it will affect your capacity too. Now, supposing that's your everyday, probably this foods that you eat or the foods that are cooked for you are the foods that cause you wind. Yeah. So in Chinese medicine, you're taught how to look how to listen to your body eat a food at a time until you can identify and eliminate foods that cause you discomfort. Discomfort is an emotion. Like you need to be able to feel happy, excited, and good, elated when you've eaten anything. But if you eat something and you sleep, that's a red flag. If you eat something and you're feeling tired, red flag. You eat something and you want to unbutton, red flag. Your food is supposed to start digesting immediately, right? So we have poor gut health. Most people are on antibiotics all the time. We have a period where we've come from COVID. Of course, there was a lot of antibiotic overuse, right? And we have witnessed more sex dysfunctions or sex dissatisfaction in most marriages, especially it hit men, right? Lots of antibiotics affect your gut. So when your gut is imbalanced, you'll have wind. You know, and we have majority of people who have imbalanced gut. They eat lots of processed food. They drink a lot of alcohol. They smoke too much. They overthink and overwork. All those things affect your gut. So if you have gut imbalances, you'll have a lot of wind. If you have a lot of wind, you'll have less blood flow. If you have less blood flow, capacity to get a good erection is going to be hard. But now you're going to need negative distraction, or you're going to look for negative ways of building this. So you're going to need strong stimulation, which comes from pornography.
Oh. How do we start talking about our issues? You have a man who is losing attraction. You can see him going down the stairs. You're losing him. He's sliding through your fingers. Where do you start? Where you start helping yourself and helping the man going downstairs, the man you're losing.
One thing I want to remind you of the question you asked me: how do women feel when men are losing attraction in them?
Yes.
When the man is going away. One of them is, how does she feel when she sees a man masturbating? If it's not communicated, of course, that's going to hurt. But also there's this element. He's dismissive. Of course, the words you'll hear, he's unavailable, Doreen. Doesn't want us to talk about issues. Because when a lady comes and says, I'm not having enough sex and I don't want to cheat, I want to understand what I can do to ensure that my man can touch me or initiate sex or want sex with me. Right? And when I ask them, have you talked about this, done this, done this, done this, done this, there's no interest in the man to want to try out anything. So the one big problem is communication. Men don't want to talk about their issues.
It's hard, Doreen.
It's very sad. So the woman is frustrated. She's not getting sex. He's not talking. It's very sad. Then the ego comes in. The times when a woman comes nicely, because men say the communication is bad. So the woman is frustrated and she's using anger to communicate. And then she will scream, right? And the more she screams, the more she draws him down to silence. Yeah? But then when you ask the men what the problem is, or when the woman comes nicely and she's like, babe, I want us to talk about what's going on. This is affecting me. Let's talk about it. Then the body language is wrong. Okay, Sema. See that turning away. Already there's no interest in solving a problem. Or he will also go on his phone and make it look like he has an important meeting to deal with or an important email to send. Sema. Like, I will listen, but then he's not paying attention. So the lack of interest to communicate is one of the biggest issues. Most of the times men have fears. They fear being rejected. The fear of rejection is one of the driving forces for that distance, the dismissal, the avoidance. Because he fears if he tells her the truth of what's happening, she's going to leave. Because the truth could be he's worried about his job. He's worried about the amount of money he's making. He's worried he's not making his wife as happy as he wanted to. Imagine, those are the things that worry men, not so.
Yeah, they do.
He's worried that if he tells her that the business is not bringing in enough money, she's going to change her attitude. And he cares about how she values him. So he's afraid of talking about the things that scare him.
I think because sometimes, we're here before you came in and we were having a very heated discussion with another young lady. And she was talking about what is a man's worth when he doesn't have money. You see?
Yeah.
And she was saying that I wouldn't even be worried by his bad sex if he has the money. So I think we're living in a society where the worth of a man lies a lot in the external things. His car, his house, his money. These days you find a lot of men saying that, wacha nitafute pesa. Let me look for money. And they believe that once they have the money, then they have all the strength, they have all the power.
Yes.
And so when everything is sliding through your fingers, the business is doing very bad, your car is stuck at the garage, and apparently you're just looking at it and you start lying and taking these loans and doing these things just to cover that hole, to plug those holes.
Can I tell you something that is really, really messing up then this paradigm that we are talking about?
Yes. Now, I hope that you're enjoying this program. Over the last 15 years, I have been working online for clients in America, in Europe, and all over the world. And that is why it pains me a lot when I see a lot of African brothers and sisters saying that they do not have a job. Now, this is the problem. A lot of people are trying to look for a job in 2024 in their own town, in their own country, in their local area. Now, the truth is there are no jobs in Africa, at least not so many jobs. The good news is that we have internet these days. We have a tablet, we have a computer, we have a phone, and that means that we can do a lot of jobs, and those jobs are online. That is why over the last 4 years I've been writing a book that is called Digital Goldmine. It is a book that explains to you how you can earn money online. The 18 hustles that I've chosen are basically for Africans. Okay, because what happens when you are doing online jobs is that payment is usually a problem. So these 18 side hustles that I have put together in this book, you can be paid very well and very conveniently. Okay, so the book is only 1,000 Kenya shillings. That is about $10. You can buy it in Kenya using paybill number. You can buy it online from anywhere in the world using a credit or a debit card. All the information about this book is in the description below. Just need to go to the description, click on the link, and you can buy this book. And if you have a brother, you have a wife, you have a husband, you have a friend who is sitting at home and watching Netflix, please do buy this book for them. If you are the one sitting at home and watching Netflix and have nothing to do, please buy this book and your life is gonna change forever. Because I have been doing this online and I've been traveling and I've been enjoying myself and having a lot of fun. So thank you very much. And now back to programming.
From my own experience, what marriage experience, what hurts me the most, or what I used to find was weak on the man's side, because the man is using money as power. He's using money to gain power. When he has money, everything is good at home. Guess what? When he has money, he behaves well. He doesn't know how to behave when there's no money. So men do not know what their worth is without money. And the problem is not women. Men need to find their own worth, share it with us. I'll give you an example. So what is the reason for getting married? If when you're dating, you call me soulmate, I find you to be my friend. We are going to talk about things together. We shall go through the rough and the good together. We'll go dancing and enjoy life together. When things go bad, I know that you're the one I'll look in the eye and cry with. That's the expectation, right? That if I am choosing somebody to marry, this is somebody at least I know. So we are looking at vulnerability. Men don't know how to be vulnerable. Let me tell you how. So vulnerability is strength, but men have been trained to think it's a weakness. Vulnerability comes here now. This my man who has been paying rent, school fees, the basic needs has been meeting them. Now he's having challenges, very natural challenges which he didn't cause. That happened to everybody else. For most of us for people who have been married for long, you understand that one moment you have, one moment she has. One moment you don't, rather one moment you have, she doesn't have. One moment you don't have, she's the one who has. I think the cycle of life, we misunderstand that one and know that we have come to play this life together, right? I'll bring it to my point. Yeah. So now this man is affected by other natural factors and business is going down, right? Work is not doing well. Guess what? He's going to go and drink and talk to that bottle. He's not going to tell even his friends. He's not going to come and tell his wife. I have an experience where my partner lost a job 4 months, and I'm seeing a change in behavior. I'm seeing a change in attitude. You can observe literally, even when that job was lost. But I was told 4 months later. 4 months later, after things had gone worse, right? Okay, bad. 4 months, you started noticing there's people coming to claim for things unpaid. Within those months, you're noticing he's drinking more than he used to drink. When men have money, they don't abuse alcohol. Actually, when they don't have money is when they abuse alcohol, because they're using alcohol to distract. They don't know how to sit with discomfort and with hard things. And one of them is
hard to sit with this discomfort.
Yeah, but it's a skill we all have to have. We were never trained to sit with it because we're always told, shut it, don't cry. We're never taught how to sit with hard emotions. So when you don't know how to sit with hard emotions, you also don't know how to sit with the soft emotions or the nice emotions. So we just do not know how to be emotional. I'll bring you to the point of vulnerability, which is one of the emotions, right?
Yeah.
So now this man does not come to tell you, babe, I'm feeling scared. I don't see this job taking us through the next 6 months. The woman wants that. It takes strength for a man to come and say, I need to talk to you. Things don't look easy. And I'm not sure what to do. He doesn't even have to have a solution. The woman wants to be put in that place. That's the place where she feels her soul and his are coming together, because she knows the strength it takes to be that weak. Right? And so the power is what we see there, because I want to see power. I want to see you come to me when you're weak.
Yeah.
Because majority of the times you've come to me when you have money. That is easy. The money is there. But real strength is being able to own your situation and come to me without waiting for you to shout at me. Because now the emotional environment in the house changes. Or now I don't have money, so you're not going to say hello to me. Or now I don't have money, you people are not giving me food. He starts looking out for subtle changes that might reflect on what he's fearing. He starts mentioning subtly that he doesn't have money, but in the wrong way. He uses, undertones which are negative that are affecting the emotional environment. And then the men say, when you don't have money, the woman is not going to respect you. You first disrespected yourself by not being vulnerable enough in the moment to be taken care of. Because now women also have not been taught how to take care of a man when he's vulnerable. Women don't know how to receive a man's vulnerability. It's not something we're all trained. We need to admit to it. Then we learn it. Because if a man comes to me, what are my expectations? I need to think, one, he's going to be solo. There's a book I loved reading recently called What Happened to You by Oprah Winfrey and Dr. Perry. It teaches us how we think when we are emotional. And as long as you're emotional, you're not going to use your cortex. You're not going to use your reasoning capacity. So being creative is going to be hard. When a man is scared, even jobs are not going to come. When a man is losing a business, many of them start going down. Because now he needs somebody else to think for him and with him. And that's why a woman is supposed to be there. So if you come and you're vulnerable to me, I need to know now I need to handle stuff in the home. I need to take care of this guy. Self-soothing will help. Make more love to him. Regulate him through sex. Massage him more. Do not comment or ask him, so today what did you think about? Do you apply for any job? Allow him time to first regulate, then he comes back to creativity. But at any moment where anyone is under fear, they are going to not think very fast. So you're thinking, I married an intelligent man. I don't know how he can lose a job and he's not thinking. So when you don't become vulnerable with me, I don't take up my role of supporting you now. See what you're killing? Because now you're going to keep going down. So they're going to drink. Even the little money they have, they will drink it. Then they're going to get into more sexual partners. Then behaviors just get worse and worse. They're distracting. Yet the best thing to do is to be vulnerable. So that now the partner comes in to play the partnering job.
Amazing. The other day as we finished this episode, I was talking to a very close friend, a lady. She resigned from her job because I think that job was not giving her the opportunity to be free. So I asked her, how are you doing? And she told me that I'm approaching end month with a looming sense of dread. you know. And I thought that was talking about vulnerability. I think that was very, very vulnerable. But thank you very much for this wonderful episode. You had a lot to unpack, and I'm really, really learning. And I'm glad that this series is coming. One of the things that as a podcaster and somebody who is having conversations is that we talk about your business, you know. And there is this one that you gave me, you know. I took it and I felt like somebody who has taken alcohol. Tell me about it.
It's interesting. So probiotic foods are foods with lots of bacteria. Our gut system has millions and millions of bacteria. The bacteria that helps you to be able to
just take a little bit as more. We go for lunch, so that is it good before or after lunch?
Can I first explain to you what probiotics are?
Yes, of course you're going to do. You're going to. Don't hurry me. Let me take a sip.
And mostly I don't want to go into scientific details, but to explain to you why you think it's making you feel like alcohol. So traditionally, probiotics, like in Africa especially, there was a lot of famine. Even before I go to why we need probiotics, there was a lot of famine. And then most communities used to grow one type of food, right? Now imagine your community grew maize only, another community grew sorghum.
Mono diet.
Exactly. So when this maize would be the only thing, when famine comes, it's the only thing they have in plenty. When they started storage in the granaries, they would put it there, but still they would have some rotting over. Guess what? When famine came, people would be so hungry, even the one which is rotting, they would find themselves eating it. Now, guess what? According to the research on probiotics, when people ate the one which seemed like it was rotting, not well stored, but has no mold, they felt a certain sense of relief. They felt happy.
Oh, yeah?
They would say, hey, when you eat. So they started actually creating an environment where some maize or some sorghum can be left in a certain environment, because after a certain period, it has a certain taste and effect on their bodies. That was the rise of probiotics. If you notice the busa, it's the way that it's made. It's still, if you look at the traditional process.
All right.
Exactly, the dirt method. But you find people prefer that one, which is a little bit dirty, than one which is overly processed anyway, to make things a bit more consumable, healthy standards and all that. So then we bring in the temperature elements and all that. But traditionally people had the intuitive wisdom of knowing if you put it there, make sure the sun is not hitting directly or this and that. They would have that intuitive wisdom and knowledge. And they had lots of probiotics. Kombucha is from Russia. Apple cider vinegar is from America. Busa is from the Luya land. Maratina is from the Kikuyu land. There's Bushera from Uganda. There's Inturire from Uganda. There's, there's
Uganda has many of them, yeah?
Yeah, we have many of them, especially from the western part of Uganda. My mom used to brew about 5 of them in the house, a very small room, but there would be people outside. I remember coming from school, every time we came from school, our beverage, our refreshment was bushera. And when we took it, we had energy, but excitement to go and play. That evening playing used to be extremely enjoyable and nice, right? And we always wanted that. Up to now, my brothers go home to drink bushera, made by my mom. I don't know why they're not teaching their wives. We have that modern problem. It's not their wives, but we already have a modern problem. We didn't pick the skills. And I take women back to the kitchen to learn those skills before going to the supermarket to buy the one which has sat on the shelf for too long, because long shelf life means short shelf life in your house. Yet if you make it
good drying.
Yet if you make it in the house, you have more of it for the long shelf. And then it's easy to make. It's just be, we just add a few standards and then they make it well. So probiotics make you happy. Probiotics work on the gut. When your gut health is good, your mood changes. When you don't eat enough probiotics, you're actually a sad person. So when people took a little glass of musururu, of muramba, of busa, it felt nice. Just a small glass. Now the problem is not knowing measurements, how much to take. So when they took too much,
we all struggle with measurements.
Yeah, of course it tastes good, so you take more than a quarter cup, because I would recommend 3/4 a day only. But if I gave you this whole bottle, you'll finish it in a day. I know, I saw.
Isn't it gonna make me drunk?
No, it doesn't. You see, the first feeling, because your sensation of drunk The only thing you've drank is alcohol that gives you that initial sensation of excitement.
Yeah.
So anything else that excites you like that, you translate it as this is alcohol. But ideally, probiotics are supposed to spur that because they improve your gut health. So they improve your mood immediately. Yeah, it's just now getting to see how much alcohol is in probiotics. All probiotics have a certain amount of alcohol. It is that the amount doesn't have to affect your brain capacity. So in probiotics, it's knowing they have alcohol that does not affect your functionality, or that does not affect, because alcohol levels varies, but the amounts that are in probiotics are not the kind that will affect you.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That brings us to the end of this episode, and
I recommend men to drink probiotics.
yes,
I recommend women to drink probiotics. Why? Because probiotics work on thyroid health. Thyroid health is one of the reasons we will talk about when we are looking at sex dysfunction in men, is one of the reasons why men experience erectile dysfunction, poor thyroid health. Yeah.
So I hope you really, really loved this episode, because I loved it myself. Doreen was very articulate, always loving. Today she has the things that she's using to help other people have good health.
Yeah.
And if you want to get in contact with Doreen, the description, we will leave her contact in the description on this video, so you can contact her directly. And all these things that you're seeing here, if you want any of them, they will be on her website. Okay. So thank you very much. Please consider subscribing to this channel, leave a comment, and as we have said, Doreen is just a call away, a WhatsApp away, a website contact away. So until another episode, bye for now.
Thank you.